Brilliant. Okay. Mike, did you say we can start?
Sure. Where are you?
Yeah, okay. Cool. Right, it's the last day of week 1. Obviously, next week we're going to get into a bit more serious stuff about jobs, interviews, recruitment, and the laws and regulations, things like that. So maybe this is the last day of fun. Well, we'll try to make less boring as possible when it comes to all these laws and stuff. But yeah, today I just want to talk about things to do in the UK, places to visit, and holidays and important days, and the education system in the UK. I think Sophie is going to help me with the last bit of this, with the short courses and vocational courses. So places to visit. Okay. Don't know what happened to my I was going to ask you to actually name these places, but the names actually came up.
Enable editing on.
Yeah,
That happened to me. That did.
Yeah.
Take that off. That's what happened.
Mm-hmm.
It'll work now.
Yeah, let me try again. Sorry about this, guys. 1 second, I'll be right back. No, still the same for some reason. No, but anyway, that's fine. Well, before I go to the next slide, then can I ask you guys, where would you like to visit? Like, what are the places that you like to visit in the UK when you come here? Obviously, you know, there are set of places that everybody wants to go. Do you guys have any particular places like that in mind? When I first came to the UK, before I came here, there's just like a few places that I really wanted to, you know, like the places that you always see on TV, like, you know, Big Ben and Parliament and stuff. So I really wanted to see those things. Do you guys have any particular places like that at all?
Buckingham Palace.
Buckingham Palace, yeah, absolutely.
You know, at Buckingham Palace, is it 10:30 every day? They do the change of the guards. Is it every day?
Yeah, they do it every day, not just once. I think more than that.
That's the best thing. So everybody, all the crowds, visitors, there's so many visitors outside Buckingham Palace, and they see the changing of the guards and the ceremony. That is like properly. That looks like what it is on TV. It looks exactly the same. So even me as a British person, when I seen it, I was like, wow, I was taking photos. I felt like such a tourist in my own country. So that is a really, really good one. Definitely one to see if you go to London.
That's actually the first thing I went to see as well when I first came to the UK. back in 2004. After about few weeks after being here, I was a bit bored. Even though I had some friends, I was a bit homesick, and I didn't have any work or university or anything that day. I think it was a weekend, so I thought I'll just take a trip to London on my own. Just took the bus from Oxford. It was only about an hour and a half to central London. Just took the bus and bought a little map of London, and then just went to these places. The Buckingham Palace was the first place to go. Just went there on my own, just to take a few photos, and then Big Ben. You can actually walk from all these places to like from each other. They're not that far. I mean, if you have a good day, sometime a few hours in London, then you can actually walk to these places. So yeah, these are the Buckingham Palace, of course, on the first page. These are a few places, and I think someone asked about Stonehenge as well. I can't remember who asked that, but definitely Stonehenge. Went to Stonehenge as well. Who was it? I can't remember, sorry. And yeah, and then went to Stonehenge as well a few weeks later, just to see it. It was good. Stonehenge is all good, but then there's a lot of walking there. There's a little museum as well, to learn the history of it, even though nobody really knows who built it or why. There's a lot of things to learn about this, how they wrote these stones there. And this, I didn't realize this was actually in Scotland. It is an auditorium, an Armadillo in Glasgow. I actually thought this was a Sydney opera house, but that's not the case. It's in Glasgow. I'm having some trouble with this slides for now. Guys, can I have 1 minute to sort this out, if you don't mind, please? I'm just going to stop sharing.
You sort that out.
Yeah, I'll stop sharing, and then I'll be, hopefully, this should start to work.
So, hi, guys, if you want to ask any questions about anything while Harsh is sorting that out, this is your time now. You can ask me anything you want. How are you feeling after the week? Do you feel like you feel a bit better with certain things that we've discussed with you guys? Are you still unsure about anything that you want to say? It doesn't matter if you sound silly. It's no silly questions here at all.
I asked Yvonne last time about the Kenyan embassy, and she said they're not in good terms, so like they're rude. So like how, especially like, okay, how do you deal with that? Like, for example, if I come there and possibly my passport is about to expire, and if they don't help me, what's the next step should I take?
You know what? They always get embassies in the UK to help you though. Like you won't be, if your passport expired, they won't not help you. Like that by law, they have to, but they would, if you did by any chance, like in England, because obviously I'm not from abroad, they normally give you a document that you can have as well. So you have a signed document from the embassy in the UK if anything expires as well. So that it's not like you're going to be, it's good though. If they don't give you a passport and it expires, you're stuck in England or you're stuck in Scotland. That's not your fault. But no, they would help you. So it might take a bit of time though. That's what I think she was saying. They're not. I've noticed that with a lot of places like, India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka, they're not very helpful at all. But the UK side is. So you'll find the embassy on this side. And we're trying.
No, on this side as well. Like when I went to the Sri Lankan embassy in London, they are not very nice either. I don't know what their problem is. Obviously, they can sometimes you have to they don't even know what they're talking about, and they're not really interested in helping people. You know how it is. Usually it's like going to an office in Sri Lanka. Doesn't matter whether they're in London or not. It's just the same Sri Lankans working there. So it's just like going to an office in Sri Lanka. If you know somebody, that'd be great. You can get things done. Otherwise, it's a little bit difficult. But you can get things done, Simon. It's not like you can never get a passport renewed or anything. People get those things done, but sometimes it could slow down because of the lack of knowledge or lack of help. But yeah, you will eventually get things done.
Same with a lot of things in the UK. When it comes to money or passports or something important, they don't want to give it to you. Like, I've been chasing some educational money from the government since August. Sometimes the processes just take long, especially with COVID at the moment. It's a bit messy, but you would get something at the end of it. Like, if you've got, so just keep trying to chase them up with emails and stuff. You should be fine, because they can't issue you. Do you know, if you've got an extension, they can't issue you the next extension without a valid passport anyway. So you'll have to get it sorted beforehand. So they would do it, because look, Yvonne's still here. So it does get, so is Harsha still here? So it does get sorted after a while. So if you do come, just check your passport beforehand. Like, is it worth, like, see how many months you got left on it, how many years you got left on it. Because you just need to get past 5 years, at least try and have at least 5 years on your passport. I don't know how it works for Kenya. Here we have it for 10 years. If you got a passport that's just a bit above your thing, then you should be fine. You need at least 6 months as well after that, just for travel, because a lot of countries don't let you travel if you've got less than 6 months on your passport. So it's worth just having that and trying to get in contact with the embassy. If not, Yvonne said as well, she's on call, on hand to help wherever she can. She goes, if you do come here, just through Josepha, if you need any support or anything, just let us know, because we partnered up with the consultancy, and we'll see where we can support you guys as much as possible as well. Okay, because I know there's a lot of fears when you go to another country. Like, I'm English, and I worry when I go abroad as well. Like, if I had to come to Kenya, I'm like, oh, for me, it's like, there's lots of gun crime there. Like, I'm light skinned, like, I speak English. Am I gonna have issues? So everybody has worries about another country, but UK is predominantly on the overall such a safe place, such a nice place. You'll come here and you'll be like, you know what, I don't want to go back to Kenya. Kenya's nice for a holiday, but England, it treats you more better, more respectful. It's just some people's ignorance and their mindset from back home or wherever they're from hasn't changed. But some of us have, like Harsh is Sri Lankan, but he doesn't think like a Sri Lankan. So Yvonne, she's Kenyan, but she don't think like a Kenyan. She thinks like more diplomatic. And she said yesterday, which is so nice to hear, Kenyans help Kenyans. They're like brothers and sisters here. You meet a Kenyan, that's your brother or sister, and they will look after you. And that's a really nice community that you've got there.
Yeah. So, yeah, for some reason, I've lost my slides from yesterday. So, yeah, I'm going to use my browser to show things, and so just carry on with the presentation, if that's okay. So, yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what happened to the presentation slides. They never got saved, or I've lost it for some reason. But anyway, no worry, that's not going to let us. It's not going to bring us down. I'm going to share this. Right. I know you probably still see this black box at the top. Do you all see that? Oh, is it gone now? Can you see my screen now? I've only got the browser. You can see that, right?
Yeah, sure.
Right. Okay. So we were talking about the places to go, places to visit in the UK. So yeah, Buckingham Palace, and any other places that you really want to go? Spoke about Stonehenge. Any other places at all that you've seen or you've heard of?
The Old Trafford Stadium.
Oh yeah, Trafford Stadium in Manchester. Absolutely. Yeah. You should go. You should go watch a game there. I think someone's trying to say something, but I can't hear. Is that Sally? Can't hear clearly. Did you get that, Sophie?
Yeah.
Oh.
I can hear you.
Oh, right. Okay. No. I mean, did you hear Sally?
No, I can't hear Sally.
Okay. Yeah. Right. So yeah. So I'll suggest a few places as well. Before I came to the UK, I wanted to see the Big Ben, and the London Museum, and well, there's a few museums in London, but the History Museum, the main one, where the big dinosaur skeleton is, that's what I wanted to see. There's a lot of history about the whole world there, like the UK history, as well as like African history, Asian history, the whole world really. So and Stonehenge, of course, and the Kew Gardens. I don't know if you've heard of Kew Gardens at all. That's in the central London area. This is the Royal Botanical Gardens. That is, but it's huge. I don't know if you guys heard of it. There's a department for every continent in the world. There's a desert area in this. There's an African area, a tropical forest, rainforest. It's huge. It's a whole day. You need a whole day to walk around in this. It's really beautiful, especially in the summer. So that's one place. Okay. And so I'm just trying to make things up while I'm going. So for London, there are lots of places like that. So I just want to show you how to actually travel within London to see these places. Like if you guys live in London, what you need is this Oyster card. That's what it would look like. So you can use this Oyster card for London underground trains, the tube. We also call them tubes. So you can top it up. You can buy different tariffs. You can either buy a day pass. If you actually live in London, it's best to just buy a season ticket or like a top-up Oyster card, so you can top it up whenever you run out of credit. So what you have to do is you can use this at train stations within London, only within London. You can't use this outside of London. Tube trains and overground trains, as well as buses within London. So all you have to do is just touch it on that little touchpad. You got that touchpad on buses and train stations. So it's like you can jump on, jump off in any stop within London. All you have to do is just get a little map and see where the places are. From the London Eye, the London Aquarium, and the House of Parliament and Big Ben, at London Bridge and Tower Bridge, they are in the same area. You can literally walk to all those places. If I actually show you a map. Oh, Big Ben comes up straight away. So yeah, Kensington Palace, the British Museum, and the London Eye is literally just opposite the Big Ben. There it is. And the British Museum is here. Sorry, not the British Museum, the Sea Life Centre is just there as well. But so you can just walk to these places. But the thing is, if you go to this London Eye, Sea Life Centre, there's always a long queue, because these are the major attractions in London. So lots of people, even just people visiting the UK, they always go to these places. So it's always good to go a little early to join the queues if you really want to visit these places. During COVID times, obviously there were no queues at all, but obviously these places were closed. But we just went for a drive once. I think there was like nobody there. Never seen London like that. Always, if you go to these areas like this, always lots of people. So we got to be careful as well. Sometimes there are like not so nice people. Sometimes the dodgy people trying to scam, run a bit of a scam or just pickpocketing or something. So it's always good to keep your belongings close to you. But it's not always dodgy or anything. It's really nice, especially in the summer. If you go there, very beautiful. You definitely have to go. And then that's the British Museum. You can walk from here as well, but if you like walking. If not, you can always get a tube. There are tube stations all across the London area. If you see this little sign, see this red circle and a blue line, that's a tube station. So you can see lots of them in and around town, tube station and bus stops as well. So loads of them in and around town. So even if you get a bus or a tube station, you can always just go see these places. So that's about London. Anything else like outside? Like you mentioned the Stonehenge. This is actually Stonehenge is somewhere around here. That's a bit far from. There you go. So if you want to see these places, so we will talk about in a bit, it's like other places outside of London, then what are the best ways to travel? Obviously, train. You can catch the train to any of these cities within the UK. And you can obviously take coaches as well. But coaches would take ages and ages, like to travel from London to say Edinburgh, it would take about 8-9 hours probably. And coaches even longer maybe because they stop at big cities and they stop for a while. So it might be very, very tiring. So train might be a good option. And also there are domestic flights as well. It's very, very cheap. If you buy domestic flight tickets early enough, a few weeks before you actually travel, it would only cost you about 20 to 30 pounds sometimes return ticket. So it's really, really affordable. And it only takes about an hour from London to Edinburgh on a flight. Also, to fly on these domestic flights, you don't even need your passport. I mean, even if you're British or not, doesn't matter. You don't need your passport. You can just travel with one of the photo ID cards issued by the UK government, like the driving license or the provisional driving license. So it's quite easy. Just jump on the flight, very easy. There's no long queues or anything. You can always travel all these areas. I mean, even though we live in Aberdeen area, we live around here, but we haven't really, we've been to Inverness once, the Loch Ness. Have you heard of the Loch Ness? The Loch Ness monster? Any of you guys heard of that? It's just a myth that there's a nice loch. They call lochs in Scotland. So they say that there's this monster lives in the Loch Ness called Nessie. Well, some people say that they've seen the the monster looks like a dinosaur or a dragon or something, but it's just a myth, you know. It's to keep the tourist attractions going, I think. But it was beautiful though. When we went there for a visit, it was beautiful. There's a Loch Ness castle. There are lots and lots of castles dotted around Scotland and across the UK as well, but especially in Scotland, there are loads of old castles dotted around. So there's one in Loch Ness as well, and it was beautiful. So if you go to any of these places, you will see the beautiful landscape in Scotland, especially mountains, lakes. And also there's one more thing that I really want to do in Scotland as well. It's called, have you heard of this Route 66 in America? That people go, it's like a road trip. In America, people go traveling. So it's across the USA. You travel Route 66. For Scotland, it's not Route 66. It's called the North Coast 500. In this area that I'm showing you right now, it covers this area. It's beautiful drive. We'll actually watch a little video. I wanted to play this video anyway, so might as well play this. That's the one I wanted to play.
At Stitch Fix, we do this, so you can do this. We measure while you make.
It is actually like this when you see there's a little castle there as well. It is like this when we drive through Scotland. Even now, like, you know, we see lots of mountains and lakes and coastal, nice beaches as well. You'd have never thought that there's nice beaches in Scotland. When you think about Scotland, even before we moved from England to Scotland, everybody was saying, oh, it's so cold and it's gloomy and dark and rainy. Why would you want to go there? But when we actually visited it, you know, it's not always the case. It's beautiful. I like it. It's different. So when it rains, it rains. When it's cold, it's cold. But when it's sunny, it is sunny. You know, you get all 4 seasons. So that's the good thing about it. And then another thing that you would really want to do is in the UK is visiting Oxford and Cambridge. You must have heard of the world famous universities, Oxford and Cambridge. Even though it was expensive, I used to live in Oxford, so I've traveled a few places in Oxford. I've been to Cambridge once just to see a friend, but not really as a tourist. But a lot of people do that when you come to the UK, Oxford and Cambridge. You definitely have to go see these Oxford University buildings. And when it comes to Oxford University, it's not just one big building saying that University of Oxford. There are lots of different colleges, like old buildings, you know, ancient buildings around the Oxford city centre that belongs to University of Oxford. I think some movies like Harry Potter were shot there as well. Yeah, so they are used for lots of. See, these are old buildings of Oxford University. It's almost the same in Cambridge as well. Cambridge is one of the oldest universities as well, so you got lots of old buildings like this, and also lots of culture. It's not just the buildings. You can go for a boat ride, just walking the city. There's a new area in the city, like a modern side, like with new buildings and shopping malls and everything. And then you got this older side of the city that you want to visit as a tourist. So it's beautiful, and you get you feel like you're actually in the UK or the Britain or Great Britain when you walk around on these streets. I miss walking around this, but then again, there's a lot more to see in Scotland as well. And then Birmingham, that's another city that you would like to visit. You might feel a bit different when you visit Birmingham because it's so multicultural. There's lots of Asian and African communities in Birmingham, but lots of nice food places. Obviously, a lot of people come to study here as well, Birmingham. And Sophie, what's that college or the university that lots of our
Birmingham City University, and you got if there's a university in Birmingham that is linked with abroad, like loads of Nigerians come there because it's linked. So they study 1 year in masters in their country, and then the university at your side, it's a college, it's not even a university, a college sends them here to do the second year of university, and they're doing it in marketing. All of them doing in marketing really. So there is a lot of links that they're sending them here. So it's really big Nigerian community in Birmingham.
Yeah, apart from that college, there's this University of Birmingham and Birmingham City University and Aston University. Yeah, I think there was another fourth one as well. I can't remember the name.
Newman, I think it's Newman
Right.
University, but it's not
Yeah.
really known.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, and then have you guys heard of Robin Hood? The Robin Hood Sherwood. I used to love that TV series when I was small. Have you guys watched any movies or TV series about Robin Hood? Robin Hood Sherwood? No? It used to be very, very popular in Sri Lanka. Was it not that popular in Kenya? So if you heard of Robin Hood, well, nobody really knows if he actually lived or not, but there are stories. According to the story, he used to live in Nottingham, in the Sherwood. Sherwood is, there you go, that's where the Sherwood Forest is. There's a lot of things there as well. They actually have this Robin Hood plays, especially for kids if you're going with it. It's a huge festival. There's a Robin Hood festival every year, I think August in the summer. So they actually play these stories dressed as all these olden day knights and Robin Hood, so kings. It's nice as well to visit. And then of course Manchester. Was it Simon who wants to visit the Trafford Centre, the Trafford Stadium? There's a Trafford shopping mall as well, Trafford Centre, not far from the football stadium. It's very, very popular as well. It's one of the biggest shopping malls in the UK, Trafford Centre. That's in Manchester. You can always, wherever you live, you can always catch a bus or a train and travel within these cities. The trains are like quite comfortable. And have you got Joyce in the house today? Oh yeah, Joyce, Sheffield, your favorite? I don't want to show you too much, and you might want to. When you come back, then you want to come back to Sheffield, or did you say you want to stay in Sheffield, or do you want to go somewhere else? You're on mute, Joyce. Oh, there you go. That's better.
I can live anywhere.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay. So
Compatible anywhere. Yeah.
right. Good. Once you lived in Sheffield, you can live anywhere in the UK.
Yes.
Well, yeah. Once you lived anywhere in the UK, you know, it's anywhere where you can get used to any other city as well. Sheffield is beautiful as well, and it's close to this other York. York is another very beautiful area. That's another tourist area as well, Yorkshire. And because there's lots of these national parks, these are a little different from national parks in Kenya. You can't really go safari, or there's not many animals. You don't see lions and giraffes and rhinos here, but there's a lot of wildlife in the UK as well, especially when you go up north like Scotland. There's a lot of wildlife. There are actually wildlife tours in Scotland, and these areas, especially when you go up here, Lake District. There's another thing that UK people and even people from abroad do. Lake District. It's really beautiful mountains. And go there for a second. See snowy mountains, lakes, and people go hiking and camping there. It is beautiful as well, but it's best to have you can't just take the train or a coach. It's best to have your own car if you go there, more like a Jeep actually, because of the road, if you're going off-road. And then Wales, that's a totally different country. Snowdonia, if you like hiking, mountain climbing, Snowdonia is the place in Wales. Mount Snowdon is the highest mountain in Wales. I've been to the top of it. I went there for a charity. It was not easy. That was my one and only mountain climb, Snowdonia, Snowdon in Snowdonia, but it was very hard. But people actually climb all three mountains. There's Ben Nevis, that's the biggest mountain in the UK, and there's another mountain, I can't remember the name, somewhere around here, and then Snowdonia. People climb all three in one day. I think maybe they are just professional, hikers or mountain climbers, but I can't do that. One is enough, more than enough for me one day, and then I had to take a few days off after that. But yeah, they're quite tall and they're rough, but it's good. It's good if you can do these things. Good for your health. I'm still training. And then especially with kids, it's very difficult at the moment because they're too young to climb mountains. But maybe when they get a bit older, we will go again. And then there are lots of nice, beautiful beaches in Wales as well. There are beaches called Aberystwyth. On these areas, Bangor is, I think, was it real? How do you pronounce this, Sophie? Is it real or Ryle?
Real.
Real. Okay, real. You said you've been there when you were really young,
yes.
right? Yeah.
But the most beautiful beaches are in Scotland and Cornwall, I think, and sandbanks around the bottom coast.
Let's go there then. Right.
You can show some pictures of it.
Absolutely. Was it Penzance, that St. Ives and Penzance that we go, right?
Sandbanks.
Yeah, Sandbanks is my favorite. I will go there in a bit as well. So St. Ives. When you go to these places, it's like beautiful. So the UK is not all buildings and culture. There's lots of other like nice, beautiful beaches as well. Especially in the summer, these are quite hot. But they're very, very hot. If you can get up to like 30s, that's very hot for the UK. When you hit 30, 31, that's like burning hot. Yeah, so it's we like going to Cornwall. Sophie likes going to Cornwall, but I prefer this different beach called Sandbanks. That's my favorite beach in the UK. Right. Yeah. It's like a little island, but it's still connected to the mainland. Right at the bottom near Bournemouth. Bournemouth has really beautiful beaches as well, but this place is just different.
But the most expensive houses there
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
in the world, in the UK.
In the UK. Yeah, even from here you can see, and some of these are houses, some these are I think apartments or something. See, some of these are actual houses. They look like probably like footballers' houses, right? Millionaires' houses. Just right by the sea and huge. I mean, this is one of the smaller ones. I think when you walk around along the beach, you can see like huge mansions. But apart from that, it's very, very beautiful as well. And also, you can catch the ferry from here to Isle of Wight. There are lots of ferries like this ferry here, and there are ferries from here as well. That's an Isle of Wight. That's the Isle of Wight. So a lot of people actually go here for holidays as well. There's every year, I think it's in the summer, there's a huge a festival there in Isle of Wight. That's a Isle of Wight racing. It's a motorcycle racing or something. It's quite popular. I haven't been to see it yet, but as a huge attraction as well. And coming back to London, I forgot one thing. There's this every year in Notting Hill area in London. There's this carnival called Notting Hill Carnival. That I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It is the biggest Caribbean carnival outside of the Caribbean area. So there's like millions of people gather around. Let's just watch a few videos, I think.
It's Europe's biggest street party, the Notting Hill Carnival in West London. In the beginning, it was a celebration of the culture of migrants who'd recently arrived from the Caribbean. Now it's evolved into a massive celebration of ethnic diversity and multicultural London.
It has its origins in community getting together and partying and celebrating. It's grown and grown. I've seen it grow. And it's very important that it takes place on the streets of Notting Hill, doesn't get moved, and remains in its present format.
Steel drum bands and dance troupes still follow elaborately decorated floats as they have since it first began.
Yeah, so that happens every year, August time, apart from the last 2 years because of this COVID issue. So hopefully, I think it's happening this year as well. I've been a couple of times, a lot of fun. A lot of like big celebrities come as well, especially Rihanna, because she's originally from the Caribbean. She definitely comes and performs. Lots of other celebrities from London, from the Caribbean, reggae dancehall artists come there as well. It's a lot of fun. That's one more thing that you definitely have to check it out if you come to the UK. And another thing you need to do is you need to catch a ferry to Belfast, Northern Ireland. You know, you need to catch that Irish culture as well. I'm saying this, I've never been to Northern Ireland yet. I think I should go. Sophie, put it on the list. Catch a ferry from here because it's so close to the Scotland as well. You can jump on the ferry boat, put your car on the boat as well, so you have your car with it. Yeah, so Northern Ireland. The good thing about Northern Ireland, even though we spoke about Republic of Ireland being a different country, there's no actual border between these two countries. You can, I mean, I'm not telling you to do this, but it's illegal to travel to a country without a valid visa or a valid permission to go to the country. but there is no actual border between these two countries. If I just get a bit close, you can just literally take the bus. I don't know if you can see a signboard, say Northern Ireland or Northern Ireland to Southern Ireland. See, I mean, that's the border, but you can just freely just cross. Yeah, well, in this area, it's just this bridge that. Does that say Northern Ireland? No. But anyway, yeah, I can't see a sign, but yeah. So you can just catch a bus or even just drive to the other side. But I think that would be illegal, but you can always come back here. So yeah, that's how closely or loosely connected they are. And then of course, all these other places in Scotland that we need to go as well. There's a lot of, but even though we are living in Scotland, there's lots to travel and lots to see in Scotland. We haven't even been to these islands. There are lots of islands here. They all belong to Scotland as well, and we have to check it out. But there's a lot to do in the UK, even though it's a small country. Like, you know, like there are lots of different things. Each area has something different to offer. So those are the few things that I could actually think of off the top of my head without the slides. But we spoke about traveling and then holidays. Holidays in the UK, that's the next thing that I want to talk about. Public holidays. Right, so these are actually the UK public holidays. When I say the UK, that's the whole of the UK, right? And then we get an extra day in June, I think, for this year. It's not on this one. That's for Queen's Jubilee. It's just this Queen's Jubilee anniversary. That 60 years or 70 years being the Queen. And then apart from these main UK holidays, there are all our other countries like Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and England have their own public holidays as well. When you say public holidays, that means all the schools are closed, banks are closed, most of the offices are closed, even the shops are partially, like, you know, they close early or only a half a day, and many public places are closed as well.
Extra slides.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So let's just read this. Extra slides. Okay. Right. I got some more slides for got some slides. Let's see if we can see this. Can you see these slides with holidays? Can you guys see this? Upcoming bank holidays? Yeah?
Not yet.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. Okay.
No.
Excellent. Yeah. So,
You see it?
huh?
People see it because I can't see it.
Oh, you can't? Oh, okay.
I can see the Google Map thing still.
Right. Is that better?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, brilliant, brilliant. Okay. So yeah, bank holidays, England and Wales. Like I said, we have different bank holidays for the 4 countries. There's a set of holidays for all 4 countries. So they are common in all for the whole of United Kingdom. And then we have our own different holidays. These are the upcoming ones for England and Wales. England and Wales always, most of the time, follow the same rules, and most of the time, not always, but most of the time. Scotland and Northern Ireland, they like to be treated quite differently, or they like to do their own thing most of the time. So they like to have their own holidays as well. Good thing about Scotland is I think you get a few more extra days in Scotland than in England. Like for an example, the New Year's Day, I think it was the 2nd or the 3rd was the bank holiday in England. But in Scotland, they decided to have another day off. So the 2nd day after the New Year's was a bank holiday. Yeah, thanks to whiskey, I think they need another day off before they go back to work after the New Year's. So these are the upcoming bank holidays. So just, you don't need to remember all these. Like obviously, you know, they're all we know it. Like even when you go to work and stuff, everybody knows that. Oh yeah, next Monday is a bank holiday. So everybody talk about it because people look forward to a bank holiday to have a long weekend. So you plan something, you know, plan a little trip or some time with your family. That's what you do on bank holidays. Bank holidays always come on a Monday mostly, or a Friday, so people can have a long weekend. You never ever get a bank holiday in the middle of the week in the UK. Like I remember when I was in Sri Lanka, you get some public holidays and bank holidays just anywhere. Sometimes even the weekend. Sometimes on Wednesdays, you can't really plan anything at all. So Marian's asking a question: which region has the least dialect? Easy to understand while speaking. Yeah, we spoke about lots of dialects, Marian, on the first day. I believe it's London, Oxford, Cambridge. Those are the good areas. Like if those accents and dialects are very easy to understand. I would have thought, yeah, Oxford, like London, not South London, come to like North London sides. From there to Milton Keynes, Oxford, Cambridge, you know, that just above London, that area. It's very easy to understand. And also even in Scotland, I know Scottish in Glasgow sides, that's very, very difficult to understand. Glasgow, Liverpool, Blackpool, those sides, Newcastle, very hard to understand. But then on the east side of Scotland is quite nice, you know, Aberdeenshire, these are nice areas. If you weren't there, Marian, in the first session, I'm sure you can ask for a recording of the session from Josephat or Mike. Maybe they will help you out so you can watch it. And we actually spoke about it in more in detail.
One thing is with these holidays that you get, if you have children at school, the majority of the time they're off. So when you're off, the children are off, because in the UK it's very hard to have childcare. Is very hard if you've got no family in the UK. So if the children are off, if the schools, like if it's snowing and the schools are off, or your children are poorly, you have to somehow get childcare. So part of your work, you can get up to 5 days childcare. You won't get paid for it, but you can help look after your children. So the government give you them days. So you can ring up and say, look, my child's sick. I've got no one to look after my child. Can I take it as a children's day? So you do get holidays like that as well. So, but the good thing is, like I said, bank holidays, like Good Friday, Easter Monday, early May bank holiday, they should fall into a 2-week Easter break. And in that 2-week Easter break, you should have about 3 days off as well, plus the weekends. And usually they do very traditional things, like people go to church and have the Easter dinners. But for children, you will see lots of scavenger hunts, lots of egg hunting, lots of activities for children to do, lots of bunny making, arts and craft. Like we do it as well with our children. We do scavenger hunts. The one that is really hard is the spring, the 6-week bank holiday. Your children get 6 weeks off school. In Scotland, there's actually 7.5 weeks off to get off school. and you need to get childcare for that. So around the end of July to the beginning of September, the summer bank holiday, the children are off, but you would not be off work. So you have to think about stuff like this as well when you come to the UK, is children get about 13 weeks, 9 to 13 weeks of school. How are you going to look after your children when they're off school? Because childcare is very expensive in the UK. If your children are over 4 years old, they can get some free childcare, but you will be paying something like £10 an hour. You can, if you to look after your children for babysitters. So even though you're getting this, if you're looking to come on the skilled worker route, you need to look at your, when we talk about cost of living, how you're going to fund some of these bank holidays, because the children will be off as well.
Yeah, and I got a question from Joy. Are we allowed to join certain sports like tennis? Yeah, of course. Of course, you can join any sports you like. Doesn't matter whether you're on a visa or a citizen or what kind of a visa you're on. There are lots of sports clubs all around the UK. In any city, you can find any sport club for any sport. So you can definitely join them. No problem at all. I hope that.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
It's regarding the holidays. Let's say, because now I'm Kenyan. Let's say I don't know what St. Patrick's Day is, or maybe like Battle of Boynes. Sometimes, let's say if I don't celebrate that holiday, will they take it as disrespect, or should I just go along with it?
You don't have to do anything. It's not like, so for an example, St. Patrick's Day, that's most people like to go out dressed in their leprechaun hat, long green hat with a leprechaun beard, and drink Guinness because it's an Irish beer. So what people do is they don't go to church for St. Patrick's Day. No, I don't think anyone just really goes to celebrate St. Patrick's Day at church. What they do is they go to a pub or a club or something, and all the pubs and clubs are all decorated in green for St. Patrick's Day, and they just have a party. That's what many people do. But if you don't want to do that, that's fine. No one's gonna trouble you for that. You don't have to celebrate any of these days. Some people do, some people don't, especially like most young people. They just find a reason to go out and party. So what they do is they have like a parades or big parties for these special days. So if you don't want to celebrate anything, there's no problem at all. That's totally up to you. Does that make sense?
It also depends on your job. For example, if you're working in a corporate company, if they have a bank holiday off, like if they only work Monday to Friday 9 to 5, they have their bank holidays off, and you can't change that. You won't get it back unless you're working overtime, as they said. But a lot of companies don't do that. But if you're coming into the health and social care industry, what they tend to do is you don't get bank holidays, you don't get any holidays. They give it back to you to take off whenever you want. So usually the UK standard holiday you get is 20 days plus 8 bank holidays. But if you're working in health and social care, even retail, hospitality, any jobs that are not like 9 to 5, they give you 28 days. That means that you will get 28 days holiday to take off when you like, and you don't take them off on the bank holidays, because that's the time when they need you the most to come in. But if you leave a job, say you started a job in January and you left a job in June, any bank holidays that were going to come, you have to pay that back. So they will work out your annual leave. So you can't just take off 28 days in the first 3 months and then say, I'm leaving this job. You would have to pay it back. You can't take, you only can take off the entitled bank holidays and entitled leave. So that way, so you have to be careful which job you choose. Like I said, sometimes you can't choose, sometimes you can. Majority of the time you can choose it though. If you celebrate particular celebrations like Diwali, Eid, if there's any like your normal days, you will speak to your manager to see if you can have that day off. because you might be able to take days off just for you to have celebrations so you can go and spend time with your family. But the only one that they celebrate properly on the books is Christmas Day. So for example, if I do Eid and I want to do Eid, I'll go and ask for Eid off. So I can have it, but they won't class that as a bank holiday, even though the UK is predominantly like, you know, Asian stuff. They won't give a bank holiday for every day, otherwise you'll never work. So they only give you the UK, the British bank holidays, not your ones. You just have to ask for it. Does that make sense?
But see, like somewhere in Germany, they have Oktoberfest, and one of my cousins who stays there, like the first time he went, he was handed out like beer, but he doesn't drink, and he refused, and some of his friends thought that was disrespectful, so he had to drink to show them like there's nothing wrong. But now that's why I'm asking, like this St. Patrick's Day, they say maybe like I think it's an island, and let's say everyone's taking a holiday and everything, but I go to work. Will I be like disrespecting anyone in the environment, or it's not my belief?
You won't get frowned upon for having different beliefs. This is the good thing about about Britain. You don't get discriminated at all for your beliefs. Like if you're Muslim or if you celebrate Diwali and stuff, they won't say to you, "Oh, why are you celebrating that?" or "Why are you wearing these traditional clothes?" or "Why ain't you celebrating?" If anything, they enhance it more. They ask you lots of questions. If you are celebrating something, they want to know about your culture, because the UK, in schools, they teach kids about culture from all, and they celebrate all types of celebrations. Anything and everything. They even celebrate Lent Day with the children, because they embed cultural diversity in the UK is so diverse. So if you came here and, you know, St. Patrick's Day, even though I think that one's the one in Northern Ireland, England celebrates it just for the party. We don't celebrate it as in we do stuff, we just want the party. But you can go to a party on the streets and not drink. You can just go for the social side of it. I don't drink at all. And I go to football matches and they're all drinking there, but it's just to get involved in, like, you know, because I like to watch the sports in a pub. You can go to Diwali and not be celebrating that, but just go for the party they have, because they have a party full of colors, and they have a little a powder party where they throw colors on each other's. Because we don't celebrate, it doesn't mean that we can't go to it. So they don't frown on you for that at all in the UK. You won't get no judgment. If anything, you just embrace cultures. But if you don't want to embrace it, then they're never even going to notice.
Talking about these bank holidays, they used to pay 1.5 times for bank holidays for working on a bank holiday, but then the government a few years ago, I don't know, about 8-10 years ago, I think they stopped paying that. So companies don't have to pay you anything extra for working on a bank holiday. Unfortunately, that was a bit, you know, I was gutted when I heard about that as well. So because everybody wanted to work bank holidays back then, because the good pay, some companies even used to pay twice the double pay for bank holidays, but now anyone hardly ever pay anything extra for bank holidays, right? So yeah.
In England they don't, but in Scotland some companies do, like all the care companies in England, because care is so struggling. They pay like say something like they pay standard fee like £10.65, because that's what I'm seeing so far. But on a weekend, if you work a weekend in Scotland, not every company, private companies are doing it more. They pay you £11.50. If it's a bank holiday, they're paying you time and a half, because they struggle out here. So that's why you have to look at your whole package when you come to the UK. England doesn't like to spend money. For a care job in England, they're paying, the top rate they're paying, or the minimum they're paying, is £8.91. And because they don't want to pay, because they've got lots of people that can do it. But in Scotland, the minimum they pay is £10.02, and it's going up. But a lot of them are paying £10.65 in Scotland. So that's why you have to look at your area, and it's cheaper to live in Scotland in certain areas than in certain areas of England. It's just, you have to see where the demand is. and be smart. If you want more money, you have to try and go for the jobs that are a bit more rural. And some of you said that you drive, that would really help.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm not really
Thank you.
promoting Scotland, but we know when we moved from England to Scotland, we noticed something that Scotland is a bit more laid back than England. Things might be a little slower, but it feels like about 10, 15 years behind England, like with the laws and which is a good thing as well. So being in England, we know what it's going to be like in Scotland in another 15, 20 years. But at the moment, it's quite, you get a lot of good perks in Scotland. Like Sophie said, some companies pay a bit extra for the weekends and bank holidays. And when it comes to education as well, you get some good perks. We'll talk about it in a bit. So then that's Scotland's holidays. Yeah, Scotland gets a few extra. So that's from our next one. Is that the next bank holiday we got? April, 15th of April. So yeah,
We're
Scotland.
in one now.
Huh?
We're in a week's holiday now already.
Oh, absolutely.
Then it's that.
Yeah. So yeah, these are that's the for the whole of the UK, right? Sophie?
These are like bank holiday. You got your bank holidays. They are days that you have off. But there's so much other. Like I said, the UK or Britain is so cultural that we love to celebrate anything. Like we do Halloween, which is not a bank holiday, but you get to do stuff. So there's lots of little celebrations we do. We do Lent for the whole month. We do Black History Month for the month of, I think it's February. We do Gay Pride. We do bonfire nights. So there's a lot of stuff that we do to just have celebrations because the UK love to celebrate anything and everything. So these are little things that they do. Look, they even have like Trooping the Colours, which is Wimbledon. So every year, like because of or whenever there's Wimbledon, they do something for that. So they do celebrate stuff. World Cup. When the World Cup happened, we came second, I think it was, and we celebrated it. We celebrated it big for everybody because we just love to celebrate people and respect them and reward them. So proper British companies and British people will celebrate your achievements. If you're working for like a Sri Lankan company or a Kenyan company, you might not get appreciated for certain things. But if you're working for proper corporate companies, you get appreciated for stuff. Even like things like Valentine's Day, you will see a lot of stores, a lot of offices decorate their offices and do little activities with you. And they do a lot of things to make you happy to come to work. They want you to come to work, so they do little celebrations and a lot of games with you guys just to help.
Yeah. So that's about the holidays and special days.
Questions that anybody wants to ask about anything?
Yeah, I'm going to, after that, I'm going to move on to the next bit, which is education. And before I go there, have you got any questions at all about any traveling or places or bank holidays and stuff?
Yes, I have a question.
Yeah.
Back in the places, what is Big Ben? Is it a building or something?
Yeah, Big Ben. It's a part of the Parliament. The Big Ben is the big the clock tower. You have seen it when I show it to you. You will like, that's it. Let me show you.
It was in the movie one yesterday.
Right. That's the Big Ben. I'm sure you've seen that, Joan, right? When you see,
Okay.
Yeah, that's Big Ben is the actual this clock, and this is the at the Parliament, the House of Commons, and the Big Ben is just a clock tower attached to it, and it's just by the River Thames is just here, literally just here, and then you got the Westminster Bridge, and across the bridge is, well, yeah, across on the other side of the bridge is the London Eye and the Sea Life Centre. That's a better photo. There you go. So that's River Thames there. Looks like this photo has been taken from the London Eye. London Eye is just a huge wheel. I'm sure you must have seen this. Okay, this is the London Eye. So when you go on the London Eye, you can see all of London. Yeah, you can book these cubicles for special locations as well. It takes about what 15-20 minutes to just go around, and that's it. It's a long queue, like I said earlier. Lots of people want to go in there, but it's a long queue. Sometimes you might have to stay there for like an hour on the queue, but then you get in there. It's about 15 minutes ride on it. It goes around. It's worth doing it just once. It's not something that you want to do every day, but it's something that you have to have done if you're in the UK. See, it's like I said, like it's just very, very close to each other. Big Ben is there. This is London Museum, just by the London, not museum, sorry, London Eye. The London Eye, and just there, I think one of these buildings is just the Sea Life Centre. It's quite nice as well, Sea Life Centre.
Going back to Big Ben, Big Ben used to always, the bong, you know, the timing used to always go off, but they stopped it for 4 years. That's the first time ever, like in many, many years, they've ever stopped, or they stopped it to do renovations. And because of the pandemic, they're putting it back on this year. So if you go to Big Ben at the moment, you won't hear anything. But normally you can tell when like the Parliament are in meetings or when the clock goes off. So they're restoring them back off. And that was a big history moment as well, because they've never done that before. So you would not hear anything because it's under construction at the moment. It's been about 4.5 years.
They're going to open this year?
Yeah, they're supposed to open it back in 2021, but because of the pandemic, and they're back opening it hopefully early 2022. So because that's what tourists used to come for as well, to see the bongs. So they've got scaffolding on it still at the moment, but they're looking to change it off. Yeah.
And also on the New Year's Eve, when it hits the first in the midnight, there's lots of fireworks from the London Eye and this whole area from here. Oh, actually, there's a photo there. See, that's where the main fireworks in the UK happens, central London, and there's lots of fireworks. Quite nice. That's something that you want to do just once. You don't, because there's loads of people who gather around to see these, and it's quite cold as well, because it's 31st of December. It's the winter time. It's quite cold. You have to stand outside, but because of there's so many people, it warms up the area a little bit, and also people are drinking anyway. But if you don't drink, that's fine. But as long as you wrap up quite warm, you'll be fine. It's something that you want to do just once. It's not something you want to do every year. It's worth doing once, and that's it. Any other questions before you go to the education system? Right, I'll move on. So the UK education system, I had some nice slides made for this, but sorry, I lost them. So yeah, the first stage. So I'll start from the children's education. So when children hit 5, or even if they're 4 years of age, as long as they are 5 by then, because school year starts in September. So if they become 5, the next year, you can start, the kid can start going to school in September this year, even though they're 4 years old. So basically from 5 to 7 is the primary. It says 1, but it's called the primary. And then you go up to 16 years old, primary and then secondary, and then you do your GCSEs when you're 16. So it's pretty much like the school system in Sri Lanka as well. I believe it's almost the same in Kenya as well. You start school at 5 years of age in Kenya.
3, 4.
3, oh, right, okay. That's, yeah, so you start early. 3 and 4, here you start the nursery, or even 2 years old. You can start nursery, but that's not free. So once the kid hit 5 years of age, state schools are free in the UK for any kid. Doesn't matter whether what nationality they are or what nationality their parents are. For any kid, public schools, we call them public schools, but then the correct word is actually state schools. They are completely free of charge up until the kid is 16. Schools are free. You got your private schools and boarding schools as well, which could be quite expensive. But these state schools are good enough. A lot of, like, you know, most kids go to state schools. We call them public schools, but they are quite good, and it's completely free. So up to 16, go to school, and then GCSE. Most kids start college after 16, up to 18 years of age, 2 years of college. So they specialize in something, so to get the university entrance. If you're studying full time in college, the college education is also free for any kid. So for state schools anyway. And then you study for colleges. That's once you're 18 or 19, then you're an adult, so you're out of college. That's where they can decide whether they want to go to university or they want to go to work, or they can do other courses like short courses, vocational courses, professional courses. Going back to university, obviously UK is a very, very good country for university studies. There are many really good universities, world-renowned and world-class education. Everybody, many people from around the world want to come to the UK to do their degrees because they're so recognized. I agree with that. It is really good. I'm glad that I managed to get a degree from the UK university as well. It's really good. And obviously, as an international student, if you're not a British citizen, you'll have to pay a higher fee. For UK British students in England, if you're studying in England, you will still have to pay the student. How it works for a UK British student is you don't have to really pay up front. You can actually get a student loan from a bank. So the student actually does not have to pay directly to the university. The bank will directly pay to the university. So the student can carry on studying without paying a penny. They have to pay back their student loan only once they start a job that pays a 25k a year. So until you get paid £25,000 a year, you don't have to pay anything back to the bank for your student loan. So that's a good deal for British students. Unfortunately, international students don't get that, so they have to actually pay the whole fee. And that's in England. Scotland, another perk in Scotland is that local students, Scottish students, can get university fee for free, completely free. So they can apply for this bursary. Is it a bursary that's called, I think? And you can get it for free. And even for the English student, English or a Welsh or a Northern Irish student, if you come to Scotland and live in Scotland for at least 3 years, then you can apply for this free university courses as well. So Scotland is, like I said earlier, Scotland is quite good when it comes to certain perks. You get paid a bit extra. You get these free, a lot of things for free in Scotland as well. We noticed that even like some kids after school clubs, most of them are free. So it's really good. So yeah, that's in Scotland. And then Wales and Northern Ireland, you don't get a free university. You still have to pay the amount. So that's the university courses, universities and fees. And then I said, then the other option for a school leaver is vocational courses, short courses, and professional courses like NVQ and stuff. I think Sophie has more understanding about these courses than I do. Sophie, do you want to talk about those ones?
In the UK, we have, if you don't fancy doing being a student in the UK, that's fine, and you want to work, there's something called a vocational course, which is known as an apprenticeship course. Now, with an apprenticeship course, you can't get no skilled visas on it. They might put you on the course as part of it, and they might give you the money after 3 years. So if you've got a skilled worker visa in the UK, and after 3 years' time, or if the company is happy to pay, they might ask you to do a vocational course, and they will pay for it. Usually the company pays for it, but if you leave, you might have to pay it back. A vocational course is something that where you would work for 4 days, and you go to college for 1 day, or you might be at home, and you do it's on-the-job training, basically. So if you are known as an apprentice, your wage will be £4.30 an hour, which is low, I know, but it's to encourage people to go back into work and study at the same time and gain new qualifications. Now, I have done MVQs my whole life. I think it's something that is really good, but when I did an MVQ, it was fully funded by the government because I've been in the UK for more than 3 years. And then you could take that qualification with you, and that is places like health and social care, recruitment, they like a vocational qualification, HR. So it is good to do for them things. But if you want to just go through the study route, you can. If you want to go just predominantly to work, you can. If you want to do these extra things, that would be good. And it's UK recognized, so it's not like Scotland. Scotland doesn't recognize it too much, but it does as well. Like I've got an MVQ. In Scotland, it's known as a SVQ, the Scottish Vocational Course. They don't mind my MVQ, but they would prefer us SVQ. And the grades from England to Scotland are different. So an MVQ level 5 in England would be classed as an SVQ level 7 or 9 here. So you have to see the equivalent to it. So it does change from country to country within the UK. But if you ever do an MVQ in the UK, it's not recognized abroad. Like you can't go to Canada, you can't use it for a Canadian university and say, I've got MVQ. They want the generic university route, like college and university. So you have to be very careful if you're looking to come to the UK and then move to another country if you're doing an MVQ. If you're staying internally, it's fine. In regards to assignments, you have a lot of paperwork to do. You have to attend classes once a week, predominantly online. You would have your own personal tutor. That's the difference. So with universities, you have a lecturer that teaches to lots of people. With an MVQ, they're teaching little groups once a month or once every 3 weeks, but the assessor will spend time with you on your own to see how you're getting on, if you need any more support, and they help you a lot because they want you to pass. Because if you don't pass, they don't get the money for the course as well. And you do there's a lot of assignments. How many? About 50 assignments, Harsha?
I'm actually doing an NVQ course at the moment in recruitment. And yeah, I've got lectures every 3 weeks. So that's not too bad. The lecture is about 2.5 hours long every 3 weeks, once every 3 weeks. That's not a bad thing at all. But then when it comes to assignments and exams, I've got exams for every week, and not every exam, sorry, assignments. It's good though, but it's a little bit difficult with kids and doing all the other work, other extra things that I'm doing at the moment. But it's good. It's a lot of, like Sophie said, in the UK, there's a lot of self-study, a lot of research for everything. Even when I first came to the university, like I realized in Sri Lanka, everything is spoon-fed. They give you all the material there. You go study this and go to the exam and pass it. But in UK, they don't teach you everything. They just teach you how to find the information and what to look for. So you have to go and do a lot of research and find out. But yeah, it's all good though. It's definitely good to do NVQs as well. They are very, very valuable.
You have to be mindful of, like, if you do not have a UK equivalent for certain things, when you're doing MVQ, they would ask you to redo the English and maths test. So you might have to convert your qualification. I don't know, do you know the qualification you do at 16 years old? I don't know what it's called in Kenya. You'll have to, if you haven't done a NARIC on it, or cannot show the equivalent to show that you have studied at a UK level, you will have to redo that. And that is really tough. Harsh has been in the country 17, 18 years. And in Sri Lanka, they've changed his grading system. Because they changed the grading system after a certain time, he can't prove that he's got the top highest mark. So he'll have to redo the English and maths, even though he's British now, everything's working nicely for him. He still has to redo it for an MVQ. So you have to be mindful. If you do ever want to do that, you'll have extra work to do, but you get an additional qualification. So you get like a GCSE, do you, Harsha, for English and maths?
Yeah, that's right. It's not about being British or not. Even though I have a degree from a British university, I tried to, I asked them, like, do I still have to do this A-level English and maths? Yeah, that's what we call it here, A-levels, advanced level. Yeah, they said to finish this NVQ course that I'm studying, I have to do my English and maths exams again. So I had to attend a few classes, and I've done the exams now, so it's all good, but I just had to do it again. That was another added extra bit of work for me to do, because my school, my college education is not from the UK. I just had to do it. So yeah, so you might, when you come to the UK, just try to bring all your certificates, school certificates, everything converted to, obviously they're going to be in English, I believe, but everything stamped or whatever, like whatever you have to do from your country to be recognized in the UK. Because I wish I brought mine, I didn't, and like Sophie said, because of the change of the system back home, it was too much trouble to get it done. So I thought I'll rather do the exams than getting these certificates done from Sri Lanka. So that was, yeah, doing the exams was easier. Have you got any questions at all about the education system or the universities or anything in the UK? No, but if you have any questions, please go ahead.
If you do have any children between 6 months old and 3 years, and you are on a skilled worker visa or a student visa, remember you need to pay for their education. If you're putting them in for a full day, that can cost anything from £45 a day to £65 a day. And if you're putting them in for 5 days a week, you can be potentially paying £1,000 a month for private nursery. So if you do bring children, be mindful of that. If you've got younger children, how are you going to be able to fund your cost of living and your nursery fees? Even as British, now we've got 2 children. And it's not, if I had to put my son in 5 days a week now, that's more than half your wage. So you have to take that into consideration when coming as well. Because even though, like I said, the education system in Scotland is, you get 30 hours free from 3 years old, depending on when the birthday is. But in England, it's 4 years old when they're going to hit the 5th birthday. So you have to be mindful of that.
Yeah.
Question.
Sorry, sorry, Joy, go on.
For us who will be working in care homes and for the service users, if you want to do your undergraduate in the UK, wherever you'll be, will it be part-time, and will we necessarily have to move from work and then go to school physically, or how would you say one who wants to do their undergraduate will operate once they already work at a care home?
So if you're working in a care home already and you want to do your undergraduate, which is that's the 4-year qualification.
3 years.
Yes, the
3-year
degree,
3 or 4
degree
years
of-
qualification. If you've got the extra additional year in it,
Yeah.
you might have to work nights, because if you want to go to uni, you might have to work night shifts. This is what's good about it, because we've got a lot of students, even British students, that want to be nurses, and they are at university through the whole day and they work weekends. So they have just a contract for the weekend in the care homes to get that experience, so they can go to the NHS and become a nurse, or they do night shifts, 4 on, 4 off. That's normally the night shift. Like night shift is from like either 8 p.m. or 10 p.m., between 8 p.m. and 10 p.m. for 12 hours. So you'd have 4 days on, 4 days off if you can work full time. If you can't work full time, there is loads of care homes that will give you just weekend or evening work. So you will go to uni for the day and come back and do it. That's the only way of doing it side by side.
But just suggestion, like some universities, like Open University and them, they do part-time courses, right? You can do the degrees there, like you can do degrees, but you can do it part-time. But my question is though, because if you're on a skilled worker visa, do you have to change that to a student visa?
You have to see it doesn't affect it. You have to speak to the Home Office to see if you wanted to study. Like in Canada, it's dual, but in England, they go there, you have to check with the Home Office to see, can you study it side by side, and which one would it come under? But you can study on a skilled worker visa, you just have to let them know, and you still have to pay international fees more than likely, unless your company is going to sponsor you for paying for it, then that's different. Like they might pay for your vocational one. They won't pay for a degree, but they will pay, or they might pay 25%, but I don't see any company paying for international fees when they can pay local fees when you become British, or an MVQ, which is so much cheaper for them.
I have another suggestion as well. Like if I were on a skilled worker visa.
Okay.
Sorry, Joy. Let me finish this and then I'll let you let you ask a question. If I were on a skilled worker visa for 5 years, I would work and get the ILR. After 5 years you get the indefinite leave to remain. I would get that, and after that, I would study if I wanted to, because then as an ILR or a citizen, I would get the local student fee rather than an international fee. So that's a lot less than an international fee. That's what I would do, unless I'm in a rush to do this degree for some reason. That's just a suggestion. Sorry, Joy.
It's okay. And could you maybe work during the day and then school at night? Is it possible for you to do the part-time degree where you can work during the day and then maybe school in the evening?
I'm unsure about it. Depending on your visa that you come on, like if you come on a skilled worker visa, you should be able to do that. But if you're coming to study, if you come in a student visa, you have to hit the criteria. So that's usually days. Masters is only 2 days a week anyway, but you don't have the flexibility of working full time. You only can work 20 hours a week, or full time in the holidays, or what Yvonne said, you have to go down under to try and fill up your fees, which we don't recommend that, because if you get caught, you lose your thing. But if you are, I do it now, I'm British, I used to work through the day, and evening classes, I used to go to evening classes, even though it's a university degree or undergraduate, they do it in the college next to the university, because there's more mature students, lots of different courses, HR, finance, accounting, they understand. So but like you can do daytime, evenings, or like Hashi said, the Open University, which gives you the freedom to do it yourself, but you have to have willpower to do it yourself. Like they're not going to chase you to do it. So if you don't do it, you don't get the degree. But you can do evenings, but you have to check with your visa. Like Harsha said, because of the fees, they're like £25,000, unless you get a scholarship or something per year, and you have to pay most of it in full at the beginning. It's best to do it. If you've got the money for it, great, go ahead. If you think, oh, you know, you don't want to work all of your time in England just to survive, you want to save some money, so it's worth doing it after you get your indefinite leave to remain, because you know your fees and everything, you know, you get public funds, bursary, grants. It's best to do it when you get it. Or if you're coming on a skilled worker visa, more than likely your employer would help you get that qualification, because they want to keep you here. They don't want to let you go if they've just brought you here on a skilled worker visa. So you can ask them if there's any funding they would do or any support they would do. And if they said, yes, we'll pay for 50%, that's fine. Now, being in the UK, I know I've got British privileges, but I've never paid for a qualification my whole life, because my companies have always paid for it. The only one I've ever paid a little bit towards was my HR degree. And that was because I fancied doing it myself. But if I was in a HR business, they would have paid that as well. So your companies are going to be really good with it if you get a skilled worker visa.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, just have a look at the university websites as well. I'm sure this is the Open University website, but the other universities might offer part-time studying as well. And if you're allowed to study part-time in the UK, then I'm sure you can sign up to one of these courses. For this one, the Open University, it takes 6 years to finish your 3-year degree, because if you're doing part-time and if you're studying, probably you can study evenings, like you asked. If you're doing full-time, then obviously you'll have to attend lectures during the daytime. Because it's undergraduate, you asked, you'll have 32 to 36 hours per week.
What if it's an undergraduate in a degree that's not under health and social care?
Let's have a look. Like what do you suggest?
Maybe economics or finance.
Almost the same. Do you see that?
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's this university. You can always check any university. I'm sure most other universities offer part-time studying as well. So
The only one that allows you to do this type of studying is the Open University usually. But if you want to do part-time and attend lectures, you have to go in. They do online studies with some, like the University of Worcester, they do it, but check the prices as well, because it's quite expensive. So just check each university's price. So if you're going to do it online, it doesn't matter which universities. Even if say that you're living in Birmingham and you wanted to study in Leeds, you know, if it's online, it doesn't matter. As long as sometimes you might have to go. I think you have to go in once a month to these universities. Or with pandemic at the moment, it's all online. I don't know if things have changed now, if they're going to continue doing it all online. But usually you have to go in once a month. So just check the criteria before you sign up to anything, and just make sure it doesn't affect your visa. That's the main thing if you're going to do it side by side.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Any questions at all? Because I think we briefly spoke about the British currency on the first session, I think, but we couldn't really talk about it too much. So I just made some slides on UK currency. I hope you can see this. Can you see this? So I just wanted to give you a quick idea about that, because we've got a few more minutes left. Just the British currency and how we use it. Well, obviously the pound sterling is the official name, or we call it sterling pound sometimes, British pounds, GBP. And the slang word for GBP, British pounds, is quid. You've heard the word box, in America, but even in Sri Lanka as well. I don't know if in Kenya use the word bucks. You know, buck is for a dollar or a rupee. In Sri Lanka they call it buck, but in the UK we never use the word buck. It's quid. I'm still not used to that word after 18 years. So I still say pounds. A lot of people say it's a quid. It's a quid or 5 quid. That's the slang word. And the symbol is this. That's the pound sign. This is how it's used. So 1 pound is 100 pence. They used to have this shilling. This is the British shilling, not the Kenyan one. This 12 pence equals to 1 shilling. I think the shilling they stopped using shillings in 1990, I think, and then it's only pounds and pences now. So yeah, you hardly ever use pence nowadays. Everything is in pounds, but this is how they display prices. So this means £9.99, £9.99. I'm still trying to understand why they do this 99 thing. Yeah, that's a £1, and this is 60p. P means pence. So this scone is just 60 pence. And also, if you this is a petrol station or a fuel station, any fuel station, or almost all of them, they just show the price. They show prices in pence rather than pounds because of this decimal pences. So this means 102.7 pence. So that's about £1 to £1.02 a liter. That's what it means. So this is the currency, and currently these are the coins that we have in the UK, from 1 pence to £2. All of them got the Queen's head, and the other side is mostly these logos and emblems, but this can change when there's a special function or a special thing in the UK. They always print a new coin for that. Like 2012, they had the Olympics in the UK, so they made new coins just for that. And then this year, I'm sure they're going to do that as well because it's Queen's Jubilee, the anniversary. So I'm sure they're gonna do new coins for that. But either way, these are the actual values of the coins that we use in the UK at the moment. And then you get the notes. These are mainly in England. In Scotland, especially when you go like up north in Scotland, you get different Scottish notes. It's the same value, but this is what you usually see. You will hardly see £50 notes. Nobody really use £50 notes. Usually 5, 10, and 20. And also, like, I thought we are allowed to use Scottish pounds anywhere in the UK, but actually the shop has the full power to refuse what they accept or not. I didn't realize that until recently. So legal tender, that's what it means. That means the shop has the full power to really, if they want to accept anything else, Pokemon cards, for an example, it says, if you want to, instead of real money, they can accept that as well, apparently. So it's totally up to the shop to accept what currency, whatever they want to accept. So that's new to me as well. I didn't know until now. So we can't really argue now. This is Scottish pounds. You have to accept it. So it's totally up to the shop. So that's the currency we use in the UK. And also, we hardly ever use coins and notes nowadays. It's mostly cards, credit cards. A lot of people use these Apple Pay and all the other online systems. Do you guys have PayPal in Kenya? Yeah, that's good. That's good because PayPal is widely used for online purchases in the UK as well. And then a lot of people starting to use Apple Pay because it's on the watch. You just scan the watch, and then that's all. People hardly ever carry coins anymore, coins and notes even. So that's what we use in the UK for coins and notes wise. I've got some more information for you guys to tell you. Like there's a few tips that when you first come to the UK, extra tips. These are the things that I'm just writing. I'm adding to the list to tell you. I don't know if you have enough time. I'll talk about a few things for the next few minutes. Do you guys have any questions at all before I start this? I have to apologize that I this was a bit less interactive than the other ones because I couldn't get my slides. I apologize for that, but hopefully I'll make sure that I save my slides properly next time. So yeah, obviously when you arrive at the UK, the first thing you need to do is be collecting your BRP card, which is the biometric residence permit. It's a pink card with all your details, your visa. That's basically your visa card. I think when you arrive or before you arrive, I think they will tell you where to collect it. I think you have to collect it from a post office. So you can decide which post office you can collect it, because there are designated post offices, main post offices, not just any small post office, but the main offices in any city that you have to go and collect it. So wherever you are actually moving, which city, you'll have to find the closest participating post office to collect your BRP. You can do it online, and then you just go there and collect it. And then you need to apply for your national insurance card. And I still have mine, which I got from 2014. It's breaking into pieces now. It's all online. So you go to this site here, gov.uk. You go to that site. You can just search for this anyway. If you Google search for national insurance, you'll come up. You'll see this page. So when you go to this page, you can apply for it online nowadays. Because you need the national insurance to work legally in the UK. You can start work without the national insurance with a temporary national insurance number, but it's best to get the national insurance number as soon as possible, because then you will pay less tax. Because if you're working with a temporary national insurance, you will have to pay more tax than when you actually get the national insurance. That national insurance number is for your lifetime. You'll use that.
Another thing in the UK is, because we're recruitment consultants as well, we've got our recruitment business. If you are coming as a student and you think you're trying to, you think by not giving your national insurance number to a company, you can work more hours than 20 hours. You can't do that, because if you don't give us your national insurance number, if we put your name in and your address, HMRC will send us your national insurance number. They know everything. So if you are trying to do some work, especially through recruitment consultants, through proper businesses, and you think, oh, I work 3 or 4 jobs, and they won't ever know, they will know. We'll still get it, because we have to process it through our digital tax marketing thing through to HMRC to say where the money's gone. Because say that we paid you £500 for the month, they want to know who we paid that £500 to. So they will give us the national insurance number. And then if you ever leave the job, we have to submit a form to say you've left this job. So they track everything. They do track it all. Partially, your mic.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, Sophie mentioned HMRC, but these guys might be wondering what's that. HMRC is Her Majesty's Revenue and Customs. They are the people. That's the agency that deals with tax and employment and everything. We will talk about it a lot more next week. So tax is all digital now. When we do our accounts, when we pay our staff, we have to submit the payment to HMRC. That's all done online with just one click. And then HMRC will know all the number of hours that you work, how much you earn and everything. So they will even send us your new tax code, your national insurance number, everything, without even us asking them. They just send it automatically. So everything is digital. So you have to So it's always, we always advise to do everything legally now these days. You know, you don't want to get caught for doing anything not so legal, and because it might have really bad consequences, especially with your visa and stuff. So you got to be very, very careful when you do certain things. So the next one, yeah, obviously you need to sign up to a local doctor and nurse, dentist, sorry. Doctors, the local doctors, if you just walk into your local medical center, you can ask them or give them a call once you're here. You just have to have a, you might have to have your national insurance number for that as well, because nationally, that's what national insurance is. You get free medical support from the UK. Anywhere in the UK, a medical is free. Doctors are free. You don't have to pay for that. In Scotland, even the medicine is free, but in England, the medicine is not free, but you get every time you have to go see a doctor, you don't have to pay anything. That's a really good thing as well. But dentists are not free, I think. But it's very hard to get a dentist appointment. But the doctors are definitely free. And obviously, if you have kids, you'll have to look into schools as soon as possible, because there's a bit of a competition to get into schools nowadays with the growing population as well. So schools is another important thing to look into when you first arrive, if you have kids. So I think I don't want to talk about all these things now, but we will in time. But I'll give you one tip. As you can see, if you look at these websites, you will see one thing. They're all gov.uk, all gov.uk. This is the main website for the government, UK government. If you need any information about visas, work, any laws, regulations, driving license, anything, you can go to the gov.uk and search for whatever you like to learn or would like to find out, and you will see the information. So yeah, that's just a quick tip before we spoke about this. We will talk about this in the coming sessions anyway. And because of the time, I think I'll let you ask any questions if you have anything. It's the last day of the first week. It's another week to go. We're going to get more serious next week about employment, recruitment, tax, and all those laws and everything. No more fun. No, we'll try to make it more fun next week. But yeah, if you have any questions, please ask.
I have a question.
Yes, Simon.
Let's say I arrived in the UK and I stayed there for months, and let's say I'm arrested. Because I'm arrested. Let's say I'm caught in a situation where I'm arrested, and I'm taken to the police station, and let's say before I came to UK, I had a certificate of good conduct, and because I came to UK by myself, who can bail me out?
Okay. Yeah. So I have first-hand experience on this as well. Once I was arrested for being in a fight. So, but yeah, once you get arrested, the good thing is the UK police, they don't treat you like crap. They still, even if you get arrested, they will still treat you nice as long as you're nice to them. So that's a good thing. They don't beat you up in the they don't take you there, beat you up or anything like that. So that's really good. So they will explain all your rights to you, what you can do, what you can't do. And they will even ask, do you need a lawyer? You can say yes. If you need a lawyer, you can say a lawyer. If you have a lawyer, if you know a lawyer, then you can ask for them. If not, like I said on Wednesday, I think I mentioned Citizens Advice Bureau. They are lawyers. You can ask for any legal help from even if you're still arrested. If at the police station, you can ask the police to contact Citizens Advice Bureau or any other lawyers. The police might have lawyers as well. So you can always ask for a lawyer if you need to. And it's your right, even if you're arrested, it's your right to use a lawyer. You don't have to say a word. You don't have to give any statements or anything until you speak to a lawyer. So, yeah, does that answer your question, Simon?
Yeah.
Awesome.
Try
But
not to
don't
get
try
in-
not to get arrested though, okay?
Try not to get arrested.
Yeah.
You don't want to affect your visa.
Yeah.
Any other questions, guys? So I just want to do a quick roundup, guys, before I pass it back to Josephat. How do you guys feel this week? Is there anything that you were really happy about learning? Is there anything you're still unsure about? Is there anything more that you would like to know about cultural training? Because the more you tell us, the better we can become at helping and supporting Kenyans to move to the UK. So what have you enjoyed this week?
Or have you not?
Maybe nothing. It looks like.
Hello, how is everyone?
So what was that, Samuel?
Yes, this is Samuel. Allow me to go first before others can come in. First of all, let me say that thank you very much for that engaging conversation that we've had. I just have some observation to make. Well, the training has been very, very engaging. We've talked about key areas of culture, food, eating, dressing, places to visit. Now, how about the dating life in the UK? How is the dating life in the UK, especially now?
Oh, very good one. You know what? I'm
with
going to
this-
cover that just for you guys. That's a
with
very
this
good one.
Tinder-
I've never thought of that.
Yes, with
And
this,
it-
with
you know
this
what? There's
Tinder
more men.
Swindler thing. How is the
Apparently, there's
dating
more-
life in the UK?
Apparently, in the UK, there's more women than men. So men would not have an issue. Women, we have to get it from outside. That's
Okay,
why I've
that's
got
a
a
good
Sri
thing.
Lankan. I've got no British guy. I've got a Sri
Yeah.
Lankan.
So a good thing about in the UK is many women, British women, like a bit of a tan skin. So that's a good thing. But we'll talk about it in
Yes.
more detail, I think, next next week.
You know
one of the
what? I'm
sessions.
going to cover that just for you, Samuel.
Thank you very
We will
much.
show you the dating life in the UK because I'm not gonna spoil it now, but it's actually quite fun for people.
Thank you
Yeah.
very much.
Well, should be.
Very good one.
And Marian's put a comment as well, very educating, and I really enjoyed the week. Thank you, Marian. And it doesn't have to be good feedback. If it's anything bad or any constructive criticism, please let us know because we want to improve these sessions as well.
Nice, Joyce, one of my people. Have you enjoyed it? Is there anything, if there's anything that you want to know more about, or do you feel more comfortable with life in the UK, apart from visas and recruitment, because that's next week? Joyce, your mic.
I think possibly next week, if you can be able to tell us more about insurance, banking, and especially if someone is traveling by train, do they require a card, or do you pay in a counter place where you have to pay for a ticket? And think okay, I think you told us more, especially about the race. So I think I'm positive that there's no racism in UK anymore. So I think I just want to know any details about payments. Maybe now, you told us about the driver's license, you take it after. I can come with mine, and I can be given mine, but I would like to know more about what's it called? If I'm not kind of a good driver at the moment, but I passed my test. Let's say I come there, is there a way you can pay a driving school?
Yes,
You can
okay. I know what you're talking about, how to become the driving lessons and the tests that you have to. There's 2 tests that you have to do. We'll explain it all. We'll take every day, because we're doing recruitment every day. We'll take about 20 minutes to try and answer. Look, I've got notes. We'll try and take 20 minutes, and I'll try and cover as much as I can. So the more information you give us this week, I just want you all to be very happy with it. And obviously our boss, Josephat, needs to be happy with us as well. So if you're happy, Josephat's happy, that means we're happy. So we'll try and cover as much as we can. So these are really good things you're telling us. So we'll tell you about the license and how to get it. and what you need to do and prices and stuff.
Yeah, and is now okay. I'm not bothered yet, but when Yvonne was talking about the Kenyan embassy, you know, as a Kenyan, when she says that they're not really helpful, and because sometimes you know you can't possibly like, let's say if you are recruiting us, we can come and ask you for help. Like you know, my passport is about to expire. I'm working here for next 5 years, and I need a passport and everything, or to renew my visa. As you said, the UK can help more.
Yeah.
Let's say like, because sometimes you know, okay, Kenya is not corrupt as many say, but it is corrupt. Let's say if they ask for money more than they like for renew my passport, like I don't want, like, if I report it, will I be in danger? Or
I wouldn't.
like,
I would only go to a legal consultancy firm that's regulated in the UK. Don't go to no dodgy ones because you will not see your passport, you will not see your money, you will not see nothing. So it's best to go to a regulated one because they will do it all compliantly for you, and they will tell you the fees properly. I have always been to a British one.
Yeah, but the thing is, obviously, if you're trying to get a Kenyan passport, obviously you have to go through the Kenyan embassy in the UK, unfortunately. But yeah, once I had to go through the Sri Lankan embassy in the UK as well. That was not very pleasant, but you know, I get exactly what you're saying, Simon. I know what you mean. Yeah, we'll talk about it a bit more in details as well next week. Yeah.
but like, let's say like, for example, like you, like Sri Lankan embassy, like, okay, is it like in Scotland, let's say in Scotland or London or Ireland?
Yeah,
like,
it's in London.
Is it
Only
like
one.
most like, oh, there's only one?
Yeah.
So
London.
So like, let's say Kenyan embassies maybe in London, not in Scotland, so I have to travel.
If you live in Scotland, then if you need to go there, I think you will have to. Let's see.
If you had to go to London, a flight is £25 one way. Is it all in London? Or is it in Edinburgh? Is anything in Edinburgh?
Looks like there's only one.
Yeah, I thought so. So if you do have to travel to London, you can't drive. It would take you 14 hours probably to London because it's right at the bottom. So a flight, 1 hour flight, £25 one way, £25 the other way. If you're in the UK, the best flights to get around the UK is called EasyJet. We fly EasyJet. Very cheap. If you've got children, £13. It can be higher than that, but that's the minimum. And it would tell you the whole month. So you can pre-book your ticket. You don't need any baggage. Don't pay for the extras. It's only 1 hour flight, but you can get it from at least £25, which is a lot cheaper than going down there. And then when you're on the other side, you just can catch you got the Oyster card that Harsha showed you. You can go on trains and undergrounds, and you can use the buses as well to get to there.
Okay.
Yeah, we will talk about it a bit more in detail. Certain things we can't tell in public, but yeah, but you know what I mean. We'll talk about it.
I have a question.
Yeah, sure.
You see, when we are doing our driving school in Kenya, you find most of the time they use the manual car. So I was asking around there, if I want, like, I come there, I get my own car, will it be the manual one? Is it the automatic one, or there any? Is
Any.
it any?
Any.
Oh, okay.
It's up to you. You can decide which one you want.
I'm older, like manual cars, because I don't want to lose the skill of manual. Like some of my family members do automatic, and they've lost their skills of a manual. So I prefer manuals. I prefer manual just to not lose that skill, but it's not essential. But if you restrict yourself to automatic, you can never buy a manual car.
Well,
So
you can. Then you'll have to do the test. Again. Yeah.
Yeah. So just manual cars is everything's manual, but in the UK now you've got to be careful of congestion charges. If your car's too old, you can't drive it in town. So in Birmingham town, you can't drive it. If you do drive it, you get paid. You have to pay something like £5 to £7 a day. That's very expensive. Even if you're driving it just for 2 seconds. because they're trying to make it a clean air. It's known as a clean air one. So what you would do is you would go on the government website that Harsha showed you. You would type in your registration, and it would say your car can't go in here. If your car can't go in there, you cannot drive in town. And they're going to bring that across the whole of the UK. They're still doing it. So they've got it in London. They've had it in London for many years. They've got it in Birmingham, and I think they're just starting to bring it into everything else. So you have to check the city you're in. And we're at the top of Aberdeen. We thought it's not going to happen here, but they've told us it's going to happen here within the next couple of years as well. Okay, I'm going to leave it there for today. What I want you to do for next week is I got some homework. Woo, homework for you guys. So I want you to get your CV. I don't want you to change your CV. I want you to have a CV ready that you think is like, you know, if you was going to use it for the UK. And I want you to have a covering letter ready that you would use for the UK. Because our aim is we want you to look at your first CV and covering letter. And by Friday, look at your CV and covering letter and see the difference in how you would approach companies in the UK to apply for that job, because that is our aim. We're going to try and get, if this is perfect already, you know, okay, I'm okay. But by Friday, you'll say, you know what, I learned a lot and I can apply for jobs and feel comfortable, because that is what our aim is next week. As recruitment consultants in the industry for over 10 years, if we can't do that for you, we need to quit our jobs. So be ready for a really, really good week next week to help you guys as much as you can. I'm going to pass it, Harsha, want to say anything? Because I'm going to pass it to Joseph. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, I think, yeah, any questions, just let Joseph know as well. So he can send it to us. And if not, you know, write down any questions that you have. You can always ask next week as well. So yeah, hope you guys have a nice weekend. Enjoy the rest of today as well. And Joseph, I'll let you do the last bit. Thanks.
Thank you so much for this week. I must confirm that it has been very helpful for our people. Even for me, I'm getting to really learn a lot. To so many questions that we have, I know we might not exhaust all of them. I'm asking you to send them to Nina, any question that you have, so that by Sunday evening, we send them over so that they be covered next week. I know next week is going to be very short for us, because we're going to be covering a lot of exciting things. And when things are exciting and engagement is high, then the week elapses very fast. And now, just to let us know, we are building a family, and with Samaras, I know we are building, you know, a formidable family, both in the UK and in Kenya. So as we'll be crossing over, I know that when you see Samaras, you will be seeing Global Health or CAV in Kenya. And also, the reason as to why we chose to work with Europe, that is UK, Germany, Canada, and US, is to provide an alternative route for our people who are going to Saudi Arabia, to the Asian country, I mean, to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, you know, to the Middle East, where our people are typically in slavery. So having mentioned that, somebody asked if there is a representation. We are really working around the clock also to have a backup, you know, if you're in trouble. We try our best, you know, our best way possible to work with the governments of the day to ensure that our people are safe and secure wherever they are. We, you know, we might not promise much, but we are trying our best to have that much, services to all of us. Lastly, we would love to have your feedback, and by the end of next week, we'll be doing random interviews with you guys, just to get your feedback on how the intercultural training is. Do you recommend it to other people? I mean, how has it, you know, shifted your perception of the UK, and how has it prepared you? It's important that we have the feedback, because you are helping us to help other people who are coming after you. And you're also helping us to better our services to people who have come before you. So to that extent, I must say that I'm very grateful, and I'm excited to learn more next week. And surely, you know, a man can't go beyond his thinking. So, and to expand our levels of thinking depends on the interactions that we have. Thank God that we have Samaras here. I can confirm that indeed it's an experience recruiting knowledge dispensing company that we have from the United Kingdom. So thank you so much, and I wish all of us the very best of the weekend.
I just want to say thank you to Harsha, because he lost his slides. He worked really hard on the slides all week to give you some engaging things, and I felt so bad for him that he lost. I was trying to find them as well. I couldn't find them. So for Harsha to do a 2-hour session still, and it's really, really good, Harsha. So well done. Because you know England, so because he knew the English rules, it wasn't hard to do. So apologies for today, but Harsha done really well to pick it back up, and I'm hoping that hasn't deflated you guys at all. And that you guys were okay. You're such a nice group. You know, thank you very much. Nice feedback, because I know where you all live. No, only joking. So no, I'm really looking forward to next week. I can't wait to tell you about the UK recruitment. I just know that you're going to really enjoy it, because we just got so much skills to undercover tips to give to you guys.
Yeah. I don't want to make it too long, but yeah, thank you very much, Josepha. Thank you, Sophie. Yeah, thank you very much, guys, as well. And yeah, thank you for the nice feedback, and any bad feedback as well, let us know. So we want to get better. So have a nice weekend, and I'll speak to you on Monday.
Okay.